Good morning, that's it. Good morning to our viewers all over the world and to the South African viewers especially. Good morning here from Ponds Forge, not a Pos Porge, International Aquatic Centre. Match game 116, under 19 men will be playing white against the GB team black. As soon as we get the players that will be sitting on the side for the GB team, we'll read that to you. But for South Africa, we have Liam Elfrink, the captain, Daniel Swanepoel, Christian Swanepoel, the vice captain, Daniel Klinger, number 12, Ethan de Villiers, number 11, Marnus Verheyen, 8, 7, Gary Lawrence, 5, Joshua McKenna, 4, Ethan Martin, 3, Hendrik Venter, 2, Matthew Bester. And the captain for GB, as I said, and the vice captain, we'll give that to you during the play. This morning, overcast as we woke up. Nice and fresh morning, and the weather forecast is very accurate here in Sheffield. They said it'll be overcast till about 10ish, and then we'll expecting open skies. Kids are all well and healthy. Refs are ready. As we see, one ref's got his hands up. So bringing 10 and 19 men to this highly competitive league. And as Lewis joins me, I'll hand over to Lewis to take you through the GB team.
Let's get the camera working first, because that's a little bit more important as both teams go off for the strike, and it's South Africa who come up with the puck. South Africa trying to go through, and unlucky there by Tom Nuttall, number 6 for GB, as he's unable to just rip the puck away. There's Matthew Dawson trying to get on the puck, forcing South African player to turn, but it's good skills by the young Bokkie.
Are you learning to talk Afrikaans here, Lewis? Young Bokkie. Thank you very much, Lewis, for joining me. South Africa on the attack here, picked up by the GB defence, and South Africa still down there. Let's see if they can capitalise on this good position. Good pick-up by the defence of the GB team, taking it out wide as we infringement called against GB. GB playing black in game 116 in Court A, with South Africa 4 substitutions in the sub-box, waiting anxiously for their moment to join this very important match. Off we go. Picked up by the GB defence, swimming it out wide to the to the side of the pool. Picked up by South Africa and taking it into the corner.
Good positioning by the forward there, Jake Charnock, who sits mid-water, waits for the puck to come through and then knocks it down. Well, they've said it's in a League 1, the referees were playing advantage there. Good use of the advantage rule, and will go again here, Hein, with a South African advantage puck in the centre of the goal tray.
Yeah, South Africa on the attack from the kick-off. They need to capitalise on this excellent position as it's in the centre of the pool, right in front of the goal box. Let's see if they can slide it, and picked up by that GB player. Well done, GB. Just staying down and not allowing South Africans to break through their defence line. Picked up and swimming hard out onto the South African half.
Loose puck by GB, but the captain, Declan McNulty's done a great job of being able to pick up the puck, and he's still down, the backline player. Good cycling, and now here goes Jake Charnock. Can he get away? Vele off to the inside. Still GB on the drive.
Yeah, GB
one defender to beat.
Well, exceptionally good player by GB. Good defence by South Africa. Nerve-wracking moment for the South African defence as a GB breakaway.
Declan McNulty trying
hard.
to go. Declan McNulty trying to get.
By number 5, Josh. Sorry there, your moment.
Oh no, we both tripped over each other, and a big flick, great catch on the goal tray by the South African defender. 2 of them there to defend. The underbody flick doesn't go into the goal. Hate that move with a passion. And then good work by the South African defence to swim it out as they're under no pressure from GB, as they, you can see them on the surface, start swimming back to the subs area, and there's a chance for them to counter, but Declan McNulty is all over the initial phase of this drive as we continue to move down the pool. South Africa with the puck at the moment. The layoff. Good supporting numbers. Great move to the outside down the wall. The puck goes to the inside, and that player who's heavily strapped up, unable to get the rip, probably hurts a little bit trying to pull off that move.
Good open player. Not one team preparing to budge as GB get the advantage for a foul against the African team. both teams that have nerve-wracking moments on defence and opportunities to score. Good defence by both teams. GB gets the advantage on the halfway line. Half flick there by the GB player, tapped down by the South African forward.
Kai Parkin is there, number 4. And South Africa just trying to twist and turn the way out of trouble, and Tom Nuttall gets a chance to swim. Good solid hit from the South African back, and he's away, Hein.
Yeah, good play there by Max Lawrence. As you rightfully said, hard swim onto the GB attack. Unfortunately, infringement called, stoppage in play with 5 minutes gone, and both teams playing some good hockey here. They've had a game day before yesterday where South Africa just beat the GB team 2-1, so this will be a very close match as well. Again, stoppage in play, stopping of the puck moving forward illegally by the South African team, as you see the chief ref just confirming the call made by the water refs.
So Hein, let's talk about the South African player. He's got a heavily strapped up shoulder there. Who is he and what's the story?
Well, that's Daniel Klinger, one of our Gauteng players. The Wednesday before they left, they just had like a warm-up session. Good play by GB on the open face. GB, is it GB called back? GB called back with stick infringement. No, so on Wednesday before we flew out on the Sunday, they were just having a warm-up game, just getting their bodies in the water, and he dislocated his shoulder, unfortunately.
So he's playing after having the dislocation relocated. That's pretty impressive. I mean, all those inside moves where you're sort of pulling from the inside moving out, that must be a very painful experience for that young man.
So we had him sitting out for the first few games to rest him as far as possible, and off they go. So to his mom back home, Linda Klinger, your son is all good. Good flick there, just a slide at the bottom, picked up by GB. A lot of pressure on the South African players with, unfortunately for this forward here from GB, couldn't pick it up because they were hard on the attack. Again, good play by both teams. Go boys. Liam just needs to swim hard there. Picked up by the South African forward, not seeing the defence coming down onto him. Good play there by Ethan Martin. South Africa need to get bodies down quickly. Come on, South Africa. GB on the wall. Good body position. Just can't slide it through. Picked up by GB. Number 3. Good play there by Toby. Still going. Well done, Toby. Giving it to his forward. A lot of pressure on Martinus at the back there. South Africa need to get bodies down.
Interesting opening phase, as you see. South Africa always have these little chances to get away, but it's always just one guy, and the support just isn't there for him. And it's, you know, I think they're hoping for the game to stop, and that's one of the things with the puck on the far wall. And a great drive to the corner of the goal. Looks like it's been stopped first time. Declan McNulty follows up. Looks like it might have gone in. Do we have our first goal?
Yes.
Yes, we do. So
good swim there by your boys there, Lewis.
Yeah, it was well disciplined as well, because you see Declan McNulty charge into to the far corner, and he's the one who's got the goal. And you know, he could easily just have hit the back of one of his own players' stick to cause a stick infringement, and the goal wouldn't stand. But he saw the puck, went for it, and gave a strong, dedicated hit, which is what's turned it into the goal tray. And we have a Great Britain lead as we are halfway through the first here. Yeah,
those first 7.5 minutes just flew by. So Africa need to get back into the GB half. Good swim here by our Christian Swanevelder, our vice captain, picked up by Daniel, intercepted by the GB players, taking it into the middle of the pool, trying to open it up, and down they go. Good play, as you see a lot of GB players on the outside, and South Africa need to get bodies down, get the structure right. GB swimming right through the middle into open space, putting pressure on the South African defence. On the far side, underneath the substitution box of South Africa, just a small little fumble there, allowing the GB player to pick it up, and that should be a goal.
It should be. It took him a second to get off. I think this is going to be a penalty goal. Penalty goal or a penalty, unless it's going against GB. Yeah, it's a stick foul.
Stick foul against GB. Picked up by the South African defenders, lying in his goal box, and unfortunately for GB. They couldn't finish that off, and a good hard swim as the puck came out. Infringement against GB, whereas we have white timeout in the first half. South African players just listening to their coach. I think we both teams have given us some excellent underwater hockey, playing into open play. South Africa's forwards just not be able to capitalise on good positions they were in, as they were cut off by the good defence line of GB.
Just a quick look at the table as we go into the day. New Zealand, I don't think can be caught now, but obviously the result from this game, South Africa ahead on the head-to-head rather than the goals against. And if Great Britain were to win in this one, then those head-to-heads would cancel themselves out. Great Britain would go second because they've had a lower number of goals against, and then that brings Spain back into the mix.
Yes, I see we're playing Argentina later today. Who's GB playing, Lewis?
It's a very good question. Maybe Canada for the second time.
Okay, so that would be a win for them.
But I've seen on the fixtures that there's a lot of nice flick through. You've been able to pick those passes and find the gaps and just perfectly lodge the puck through it onto the support. It's been excellent play by Bernie Tarling's young men, but a great bit of swimming here.
Like you said, the support coming in too slow there for South Africa with a good swim by Christian Swanefelder. The forwards not supporting, and unfortunately counter play here by GB excellent, as we have number 7 from South Africa, Max Lawrence, trying to get South Africa back into the half. Stay down, Max. South Africa picking it up. Good play here by GB, swimming straight through the South African defence line. That's Ethan de Villiers. Like I said, he's really come to the party. Good chip and chase. And chase. Some barging there, stopping the South African forward to capitalise on that good chip and chase that they had. As we had an open player, inside play, that could have swum it right through.
Yeah, I could have called that barging in a minute out for the player because he knew he was beat and just told, he'll have been told if somebody's going past you like that, put him into the barrier, take the penalty, and, hope your team can survive with 5 if, the worst comes to the worst. Huh?
South Africa get the advantage back in their half on the 2 metre line. And just a turn there, good position by the forwards. Keep swimming, flicked underneath the body to the back. Picked up by South Africa again into the half. Unfortunately, just flicking onto the GB stick. And this is our player, Marnus van Rienen. Goes South Africa as we are on the attack. Just a small little curl underneath the body. And the GB player just keeping the puck protected. Good protection of puck there by GB.
So Tom Nuttall will likely get in just after the puck's touched, as we'll take a short while to reset the puck, but we'll just see how well GB can do. If they can hold out here with 5, they'll go back to full 6 in the water as Tom Nuttall gets in. But first,
we've
South
had this
African
opportunity before. Let's see if we can capitalise on this good position. Come on, South Africa. Good defence by GB. South African bodies need to come down, need to place themselves in between the GB players. GB still hard on the attack with now being 6 in the water again. South Africa called up for infringement. Good play there by GB. Good defensive play. Bodies down, protecting their goal. As Lewis just gets the panning of the footage right underneath the water. And we have court B, we have South Africa under 19 women playing as well, with Jack commentating. Good play here by Marnus, just staying down, staying calm, still down. Good strong boy there. Picked up by the South African players. Good drive. Is that a stick infringement against GB? South Africa with 3 minutes to go would like to take the score to 1-1 on the 2 metre line in the GB half. Puck gets placed by one of the water refs. Water ref number 15. On the 2 metre line inside the GB half. It'll be flicked into the middle. Hopefully the GB boys don't pick it up, but they get picked up. Hard drive from the back there by the South African players. GB, excellent defence. Bodies down, 3 of them waiting for the puck. Marnus again coming into play. Not allowing the GB player any movement.
Bit of a glove on the wall, very inverted his stick to
another
try and
gloving
move down.
infringement there.
advantage being played by the referees, and now we have a stoppage. So this is going to be most likely a gloving call. Yes, it is, and another advantage puck to South Africa. Great pressure as we see out the first half.
Well, the good refereeing there, as they saw the infringement, clearly showed on the footage, and they just allowed the advantage to go. No advantage for South Africa, and GB on defence again. Good play by GB. They're just staying down. They've got all 6 players down, not allowing the puck to move into the goal area, into the danger D, as we see GB opening it up into the open play. South Africa need to be careful, as GB's got some good wings with a lot of speed. Well, GB's capitalised on that. They've regrouped and picked up by South Africa. Oh, just missed the forward there. Back player picks it up again. Good defensive play. Good small little jinx, inside, outside. Right, this is 1 minute to go. A lot of pressure here on GB. If we can get the puck down on the right time. Just missed there by our forward. Oh, the GB defence, you can be very proud of them, Lewis.
No, it's a very fine unit and well organised. The 3 players in the rotation for the 2 back positions. Declan led the team in terms of fitness.
Yes.
A lot of the time through his training. A really exemplary member of that team, leading the team out every single day. And he's helped other people in that team to get to where they are. But it's a lovely little flick to the offside. Here's Jake Sharn up the forward, trying to move.
Stay down, boys.
Get up. Just puck control, letting him down, and then the flick. But then a mistake by the South African, and GB have a chance to swim.
Yeah, GB there with player on the inside. Unfortunately, not be able to get the puck through to the inside player. 1 minute infringement, stick infringement called against our South African player. I don't know who that is. We'll get you. Who's that? Matthew Bester, stick infringement, being asked to sit on the side for 1 minute.
And GB take a timeout.
Black timeout called.
Yeah, timeout with 7 seconds remaining. I don't know how long he's been shouting for that. A few seconds earlier maybe, but the puck's probably going to be played on about a half, just past halfway, maybe 10 metres out from the goal. To try and get through 6 South Africans to a goal in 7 seconds would be some achievement.
It's not impossible. Matthew Best has been asked to sit out for 2 minutes. That was a serious stick infringement.
I think it might have been because of his position in the team and where he was in the water, potentially, because but they're having a good swim, and if he's done a stick infringement, it's not enough to be like a penalty goal, because you could see there was other South Africans chasing back. But if you go down and you stop somebody, it's interesting to think, because obviously that player was going to go through and have a good chance of scoring. You can't award a penalty shot because he was likely to score, because it was not a serious foul within the 3 metre D.
6 on 5, tapped down by Chris Swanefelder. Hard swim onto this African goal box. That's time.
So it is. Yeah, so I think that a right decision by those officials to sort of address that and say that, given the seriousness of the foul in the position and what was happening during the play, that he has got the 2 minutes as opposed to a 1.
We've definitely seen some good play in this game 116. Good refereeing as well. So the Africans had their opportunities, couldn't capitalise on that. GB, excellent in defence, good open play. South Africa still in this game, being 1-0 down to GB in the first half with 2 minutes to go. We see the sponsors on your screen. Thank you to them for making it possible, putting your hands in your pockets and coming to the table and supporting this 5th age group tournament in Sheffield. Like I said earlier today, overcast weather, nice and fresh morning here in Sheffield. Players went to dinner at Cosmo last night. Once again, nice pleasant walk there, and lovely to see this African ladies and the 19 team having dinner with the New Zealand and the 19 team. Good bonding, good sportsmanship. As you'll see, quite a few photos on the South African Facebook page posted by Pam. Right, it's You want to say a few words there, Mr. Lewis? That's the overlay. That's where we are with the log. Very closely contested to go into second place between South Africa, GB, Spain and France. New Zealand have run away. They right on top, having played 8 games, not losing one. South Africa 4 games, losing 2, drawing 2. Same with GB. Spain playing 3, drawing 2, losing 3. France playing 8, winning 3. Was that a loss and 2 draws? Right, so bottom of the log, Canada and Argentina bringing their players to this tournament. It's always good experience for them. It's not always about winning, and thank you for you. 7 teams in this league. For the people back home, it's now, I think it's 9 o'clock, 9:30 in South Africa on a Tuesday morning. One 0, GB leading, well-deserved lead by GB. And South Africa will be starting the second half with 5 players in the water, with Matthew Bester still needing to sit out with 1 minute and 50 seconds. Off they go as Lewis just gets the camera settings right for you guys. Camera positioned underneath the water in the center of the pool, so it's a wide angle lens, but it doesn't cover the whole pool, so it's hard work here by Lewis. Showing you the coverage. GB hard on the attack, open goal. That should be a goal for GB. Still not. Martinez staying down. Good play there by Martinez. Excellent play by the South African defenders. That should end it off. Unfortunately, Martinez not getting it away, and the support coming in a bit slow. 2-0 for GB.
Yeah, perfect way to start the second half for Great Britain, punishing the South Africans while they're down with just 5 players. But it was interesting. But I'm really impressed with the levels of defence being displayed by the South Africans. There's so many likely situations where GB would score, and they're reducing those so that they can, stay in this game. And it's Isaac Rhodes-Dawson there with the goal.
Yeah, unfortunately, South Africa not be able to stop that wave from the kickoff. GB were on the attack, picking up the puck, taking it to the far side of the pool, bringing players in and swimming hard on the South African defenders. South Africa pick up this one, taking it underneath the substitution box of GB. And players at the bottom, a chip and chase. Good play by South Africa, putting pressure on the GB players, with Matthew Bester still sitting out for 20 seconds.
He'll be in no next as the play's going to stop. It's advantage to South Africa, so Matthew Bester is going to be able to get straight in once the puck is touched by his teammates. GB have to hold out here after doing such good work to get ahead.
Righto, so off we go. We've been in this position before. Let's see if we can change our tactics. Just a small little turn, getting our players in position. Hard swim from the rear here by South Africa, defended well by GB. South Africa still coming. GB fast down on the puck. Again, South Africa in open play with that puck and coming out to this wing on the left hand side. Unfortunately not, still staying down there by our number 2 player. Matthew Bester back in the water. South Africa trying to take it off the wall. GB still playing the wall, still a big drive there as they keep on swimming into the South African half. Picked up by South Africa into the middle open play area. South Africa need to stop this popping of bodies. Stay down, boys. Good play by GB. Good support. Brings it in. Unfortunately for GB, didn't see the wing on the right hand side. Picked up by South Africa. A small turn when he had open play to go.
Yeah, very talented player, Isaac Rhodes-Dawson, and it's
what I can see from the commentating box is that South Africa gets the puck, and instead of swimming hard, they turn probably too quickly, and giving the GB players
oh, what a move! That was beautiful.
A lot of support from the back.
Number 4 for South Africa there, the one with that great move. Brought in 2 players and away he went. Lovely little switch by the South Africans to swim at GB. It was a 2-on-1 opportunity, but it's good defence. And the puck's out to the far side wall. GB being forced into their own defensive corner, but a stoppage. This could go South Africa's way.
Yeah,
and it does.
Infringement. And I see is it a warning given? No. South Africa were called up just now for stick infringement, with Matthew Bester being asked to sit on the side. Stick infringement against GB. Refs in position. Down we go. All 6 GB defenders, players down in the defensive position. Body showing to the outside. Good position, body position by GB. Come on, South Africa. Unfortunately, a turn picked up by South Africa. And not onto the South African stick, but onto the GB stick. South Africa not allowing space.
South Africa have struggled all game to break down the GB defence, and they're going to struggle in these sort of situations where they're just able to go through the phases and rotate. They're looking like they're more deadly to score when the puck's moving, maybe on the counter-attacks, and they can isolate a few of those GB defenders.
Yeah, beautiful play by GB. The South African players' bodies aren't always in the correct position, picked up by Christian Swanevelder, a small little jinx, and hard defensive play by GB. Playing through the South African players, picked up by South Africa. Good swim, picked up by GB as South Africa turn in open play. Good body position as South Africans forward stay down. GB also staying down and not allowing South Africa to capitalise on that hard swim. Play taking place in the middle of the pool. Come on, South Africa. Yeah.
Big hit, Jake Charnock.
Good
1-on-1. Decides to turn and lay it off to Jackson Spry. What do you think there? Was that the right choice for that player? I'd prefer to see him, keep going. Jake Charnock's a big, strong lad, and he's got the legs to go from there. Just turning a little too soon for my liking.
Sure, good swim by Christian Swanevelder. Unfortunately, the GB players getting their defensive line structures right and not allowing Christian to open up and to get it into his wing. Again, it's GB coming back with good play there by GB. 2-0 up. Good position for GB to finish this one off. Half drive again. GB players 1-2 on the inside. Cut off by South Africa. Swimming through the middle. Picked up by Daniel Klinger. Good swim by Daniel. Watch out, Daniel. Look up. And a chip and chase. Once again, Daniel still down. Looking for support. Oh, watch out.
He lost his fin. He was going so hard, and now your South African player has to watch out for the fin. He almost got tackled by it. Didn't see the supporting player to the right as the 2 GB defenders are the ones who take him out. And
as you rightfully said, didn't see those 2 speedsters coming up on the inside. Christian just not able to pass the puck into open play. Daniel Black back into play. So it's not him that lost his fin.
It was. I think he's just put it on really quickly.
Picked up and put on quickly. Again, South Africa defenders stopping the wave. Good play by GB. Just a small little fumble as the puck was flicked. Come on, Daniel. Right, so the call. Stoppage call. Infringement against GB right on the open goal area. South Africa, I think this will probably be their 5th opportunity to score from a very good position, as we have team timeout called by Black, acknowledged by the chief ref, blowing his whistle to draw the attention of the water refs to indicate.
Yeah, unfortunate there because the chief ref saw it straight away as Black signalled for their timeout, because I saw them waving it away as if to say, no, you know what, we don't want it, I'm not bothered. But then the referee had already put his whistle to his lips and said, oh, well, you've signalled for it, I'm giving you a timeout. If you don't want it, don't put your hands in the air. So with the way things stand, Great Britain will go ahead of South Africa on points, and they will remain if South Africa were to level up the points later in the tournament, with goals against tally being in favour of Great Britain. I think Great Britain still have to play New Zealand in this division for the second time, and I don't know whether that will be later today or in fact tomorrow. I think it might be later today.
Interesting call here by the refs, asking the GB player to sit on the outside, as I see the South African coaches coming into the water, and come on Daniel, picked up by this GB defence, and just couldn't finish it off. South Africa are playing 6 against the 5 GB players, and South Africa just needing to get their confidence going. And the only way they can do that is by scoring a goal. With 20 seconds left for the GB player on the side there.
You can't really say that South Africa have done anything wrong in this game. They've played a great game of hockey, but the GB backs are going and playing in an absolutely outstanding fashion. And South Africa have been struggling to break them down, whereas GB made the most of their 6-on-5 power play and were able to get a good, strong start to the second half, which has helped them say, you know what, we don't have to score another goal. We just need to make sure we keep to our own plan, don't get isolated, keep the puck, move the puck, and don't give away any silly fouls. As Isaac Rhodes-Dawson re-enters from the sin bin sponsored by Manchester Underwater Hockey. Advantage Great Britain.
Yes, Great Britain again saving for sure a goal there by good defensive play. As we have five and a half minutes to go in the second half, with both teams taking their team timeouts. So there will be no team timeout opportunity to regroup your team again and motivate them. GB bodies down there, picked up by South Africa, hard swim here by the South African player. Let's see if he can get his speedsters going. Good turn, picked up again by South Africa into open space, number 7. Hard play, if you can turn at the right time. He got players on the inside. He had 2 players on the inside. Open goal. Fortunately, good play once again by GB, not allowing South Africa to position the puck on the South African attackers. And well, that again, excellent play by GB. Ref timeout called. One ref calls infringement against South Africa. The ref in the goal box says he saw something else. I'd like to have a chat on the side with you to discuss what he saw. So you have 3 refs in the water who will now discuss and relay their calls to the chief ref on the side.
Yeah, I think they're looking at a possible foul against GB and going to figure out which one was first, as you see Jake Charnock just coming over towards the GB end wall. And we've got this group of 6 players, and
no call made against South Africa.
Number 2 and number 3 for Great Britain, Declan McNulty, the captain, and Toby Curl are just doing an excellent job in that back 2 of this formation to.
Oh, so White hasn't called their timeout, Lewis. Sorry.
Yeah, no, they used their first half timeout.
Oh, they used the first one.
Both teams used their first half timeout, and then White's just used their timeout now. Sorry?
Right, so South Africa on the attack. The refs called the timeout, discussed what they saw, and the call was made. Advantage back for GB, as we will start in 30 seconds with 5 minutes to go in the second half. GB up 2-0 in a very, very good position.
South Africa probably have to score within the next 2 or 3 minutes to have a momentum shift by getting the 3rd goal, and there's promising signs there. But as I was saying, number 2 and number 3 for Great Britain, Toby Curl and Declan McNulty, are just fully in command at the back and under no pressure. As it's going to be Toby Curl who takes the advantage puck now,
definitely
moving out to the right.
The back players, defensive players for GB will be the players of this match. Max Aaron's body position not as low down as we'd like it, allowing the GB players to swim underneath him. Staying down, picked up, pops, and off we go into open play. Stick infringement by South Africa in a very, very dangerous area right in front of the goal box. And South Africa, well, it's taken out to the 2-meter line, luckily. about 8 meters out. GB to start. The advantage puck. Flick it into the middle on the GB player. Big rip onto the South African goal box. Picked up by the South African defender. GB forward, not allowing South Africa to get momentum. Stoppage and play against GB. South Africa have a breather, but as you rightfully said, if we want to draw this game, not even win this game, we will have to score a goal. We should have scored one earlier, making it very difficult for themselves with 3.5 minutes to go.
It is so much harder playing teams when they have a 2 or 3 goal lead, because we know there's a little bit of comfort zone. There's that little area for mistake as the play comes underneath the camera.
South Africa putting a lot of trust there in their players, taking it over in front of their goal face. Christian locked in, can't get the puck through. Good defensive play. Martinez picking it up, just can't get momentum. And Liam swimming out into open play with he's a speedster, captain of the team, and still going by South Africa.
Go. 2 players entering from the subs bench there.
Excellent defense
GB.
Once again by GB. If we could have just had a if. Right, so underneath the substitution box, GB leading 2-0 with 2.5 minutes to go. South Africa once again couldn't capitalise on that hard swim by South Africa. No support. Infringement called against GB. Well done to the GB players, especially their defenders. Not allowing South Africa to score a goal. Down they go.
I will be very surprised if GB don't award Declan McNulty the man of the match after this performance, because he's possibly had his best game of the competition so far in this one.
Yeah, you can see his fins there, also marked. Number 2, look at his position as he goes down once again. Good play there by GB, playing it up onto the inside by South Africa. Just waiting for the opportunity to come into open space.
Kai Parkin, number 4, the Yorkshire player, flicked down the wall to the outside.
Oh,
Jackson Spry, he's got some legs on him, but he's not electing to use them as he just casually swims down the side.
GB player playing it back to number 5 for South Africa, Joshua McKinnon, coming in between the defenders, between the attackers. Good defence, Christian Swanepoel.
Illegal advancement.
Infringement?
No, obstruction against South Africa, so they're getting pushed back.
Well, South Africa have tried. They have shown us what can be done, but unfortunately they couldn't always finish. As we have 1.5 minutes to go. GB on the attack in the South African half. About 8 meters out. Taken by GB. Picked up by South Africa. South Africa don't want to play here. They want to play in the GB half. Play against the wall. South Africa player just jabbing it back to his defender. South Africa trying to open it up. Christian swimming open the open area, straight down the middle. Keep going. With 1 minute to go, South Africa. GB player being asked to sit on the side for 1 minute for a stick infringement. So GB will finish this game with 5 on 6.
Well, at the moment they're playing 6 on 4. Still 5 in the subs bin. And now they get themselves organised just in time. A quicker restart by the referees could have really punished Great Britain there. And it may still do, as South Africa have gone all the way down to the back wall, and they're trying to get it down, but once again stopped near enough on the tin of the goal.
Now, excellent play by your players, Lewis. As South Africa were on the goal, and the GB player just taking up space, getting his body in a correct position, and a hard swim and taking it to the corner. They'll run down the stopwatch with 20 seconds to go. Infringement called. Is that the corner rule applied here?
Yes, it was the delay of game.
Delay of game.
It's interesting that it's the referee who was out the back who called that one. There's always a referee over the top of the puck when play goes into the corner.
South Africa would love to score here, Lewis, even though they'll lose this game. They just want to finish it off. And again, the GB players taking it out to the side. Brilliant play by GB. South Africans just not getting up. It looks like a puck goal scored in the last 2-3 seconds of the game. South Africa will take that on a high with 2-1. As you see the coaches in the water there congratulating each other. Hockey 1, GB on the score card will be 2-1 up. Yesterday it was 1-2, today 2-1. Well done to the GB defense and overall the GB team and their coaches. So they will play, I know we'll play Argentina later today, and GB obviously have another game as well today. Thank you very much, Lewis.
It's going to be interesting to see what the take on the final few seconds are there, because you know, you can understand as the players, yeah, you're happy to win the game, and you know that if they concede, it doesn't really matter, and no, you don't ever like drop your guard. But Bernie Tarling will say, right, great job for the win, lads, but we can't afford to concede goals in the last seconds of the game. Imagine if South Africa had scored earlier on. That's gone from a winning a game to a tied game, or you might have been tying a game, and you win. You've got to make sure you finish games off. And a great performance by GB. I'm not trying to say that, you know, they've done anything wrong. Great performance by the team all round. South Africa played very, very hard right from the off, and they neutralised them throughout the game. But it's also, remember, even you've got games within games. If you know you've won 2-0, you try and make sure that you don't concede any goals.
Yeah.
And when there's pressure on your tin, you've got 5. It's like almost a practice chance, right? You move through, we don't concede, and see what happens.
Right, thank you, Lewis, for that information.